So I sent a note last night, and hopefully people got a chance to take a look. There are there's one opportunity that we need to fill from the enablement section, specifically from either memory or search. The telemetry and fulfillment teams, they need to augment their teams to work on some high priority IACV goals for the coming quarter. I'll let folks read the details there. What's needed on our end is I need to hear feedback by the end of tomorrow on interest level for folks. And it could be anywhere from not interested at all to, yeah, can I start tomorrow, right? And give me some honest feedback. Let me know if you have any questions for those that are watching the recording later on. Just find some time to chat with me. I need to hear from you tomorrow. Sorry for the short notice. This was expedited to us as well. But I do need to hear from everybody. And if you have questions, it's fair. Please reach out at any time. Ask me questions. If I'm not available, Sean will always be available. Josh will have information. Any one of us can answer questions about the opportunity. But just let me know which way you're leaning. And like I said, and it's in the details in the doc, we need to fill one position. It needs to come from enablement. And if there's multiple people that are interested, then we'll go back and kind of figure out who's the best fit. Does it make sense for them to move? Is it the right opportunity? And then we'll come back and figure out who's going to move. If nobody's interested, it'll be a harder conversation because then we'll have to go back and say, we do need someone. We need someone to, if hopefully they're interested, but if nobody's interested, we still need to provide someone. So reach out to me, find some time, we can chat and be on.
Wait, so we're shrinking the memory team?
I
thought it was like an opportunity more than something we're required.
We have to, so between either search or the memory team, we need to find someone to go help out with fulfillment or telemetry. Okay. We need one person if they're interested. And if nobody's interested across the two teams, so there's 10 people total across memory and search. And we need one person who's interested in switching over to either fulfillment or telemetry. And they can express an interest on either one, but ultimately, I'm not sure who makes that decision where they're going to land, but they can express their interest. So no, it could come from the search team. There could be someone on the search team that's incredibly excited and wants to join one of those teams to go work on what they're working on. But yeah, it could come from the memory team as well.
Okay, thanks.
But there's just one position, one person needs to move from the two teams to go help out with this opportunity.
And to provide some more background on what's happening with the fulfillment and telemetry team, essentially we are trying to improve the business case for GitLab.com. Right now, we spend a lot of money on GitLab.com, in particular on free users, quite a lot of money, and the conversion rate to paid isn't as high as we would like it to be based on how much money we're spending on free users. And so we're doing a number of things to help to rein in the cost of GitLab.com, namely things like the implementation of limits on storage, on CI minutes, and things like that. But as we're implementing limits, we also need to make sure that people can buy more limits of these things. So for example, if we say you get 2,000 minutes on a free plan, if you go over that, we want to make sure you can also just buy more. And so right now, those workflows don't really exist for everything, and so we're working to improve those and also make sure that that you can buy these different types of things. And the telemetry side of things is also important to make sure we can understand how the product is behaving. And so there's a fewer number of openings for the telemetry team, and they're focused on improving things like the usage ping to make sure it can scale for GitLab.com and to make sure that we can instrument parts of our applications that right now are challenging to instrument with usage ping. So that's some of the reasons there is we're trying to get more data driven on the telemetry side, and we're trying to operate GitLab.com a little more as a kind of a healthy standalone business than it currently is.
Yeah, just to echo what Craig said, so feel free to reach any one of any three of us, Josh, Craig and me anytime if you got questions or whatever we can address. So anytime, and we would appreciate your feedback by end of tomorrow, Wednesday, your local time.
And I'll reach out to everybody if or anybody I haven't heard from. So like Alexi's out of town, so I'll have to catch up with him tomorrow. Cool. All right. So we still have 12 days in the milestone, so we can catch up next week on what we should add to the release post. There's some good things that should go into this release post in JSON, atomic processing. We'll get more. We'll get some issues out there to make sure that we summarize those for the release post. MR totals for April, great, second highest ever, 44. OKR, oh yeah, OKR, thanks for the feedback I've gotten so far. I haven't had time to actually go back and review all the feedback. There's a lot going on right now, so I will work on that this week to make sure that we incorporate feedback. I did read what Matthias said about getting more specific on the proactive development piece and getting some actual actionable items in there. So I will revise that and incorporate your feedback. Thanks, Matthias. See the 1210 retro. Need feedback from people that aren't actually in this meeting right now. So Alexi, he won't get his in time. It'll still be good to get his feedback, and I will ping Nicola directly on that. Let's jump over to the memory team board. All right, Camille, you're first.
Let me check. I didn't yet reach out about HA documentation. I'm gonna reach out tomorrow. I just got back today, so I only responded to most of the conversations around the current stuff. I actually did push another iteration of Puma patches because a few things changed. So I'm hoping that maybe we merge that. I am still looking for feedback from Nate. As CI minutes cost factors, test on production, nothing did change from that yet. I need to really understand what is the progress on Alex stuff to figure out when we can start testing that. I also didn't see any response yet from Kenny about the communication aspect. So at least for now, I don't really saw enough momentum to say that since the discussion that we had on Thursday, I believe that I'm unblocked on saying that we can test on the production.
Okay. Do we need to sync up before this coming Thursday? Or are you feeling okay with current state of things?
I'm gonna write a message on Slack. I think async is good enough for now. There are pretty well thought points from our last discussion, so maybe getting the feedback before the Tuesday or Friday would be actually useful.
Okay.
To not lose the time, because we don't really have a lot of time. We have 2 weeks left. So I'm not yet worried this week, but I'm gonna be starting to be worried next week.
Yep. All right, sounds good. Thanks. Matthias, way over to you.
Yeah, so that's it's in review. Camille, thank you again for looking at it. I addressed your feedback, so fingers crossed it should be ready to go in now. Tested this as well, looks fine. I think we're pretty close to shipping this. I've actually spent more time on 13.1 items already because there wasn't too much left in the 13.0 milestone. So yeah, I'm also spending some time on looking into this. Into why exports apparently got so much slower in this pipeline we're running. Yeah, that's still ongoing as well.
Okay.
Yeah, no more updates then. Action cable stuff, by the way, there hasn't been really a lot of movement. The meeting, the sync last week was moved to this week, so it should be, I think there should be one tomorrow. The main update is that there is some like product development movement. So we're getting, I saw like, I think the last or the second to last MR landed to actually have like real-time sidebar assignees. So there's some feature progress there for sure, but not much else going on.
Camille, did you want to say something? Looked like you were waving at the camera.
Yes, I may be gonna add to the doc because I had some random idea when we started like report USS and PSS into Prometheus. It would be pretty useful to push as much data about memory usage, application configuration into our usage pings to understand exactly how customer instances are configured and what is their memory usage to understand better how people do run. I'm thinking that we don't have anything like that today. That would give us some more insight into how are configured our customers and what is their memory usage.
Interesting. How the usage ping information, that's pretty straightforward to add that, right? I mean, Jinyu has done some stuff in the past, and the issues I've seen, they didn't seem to be incredibly difficult.
It really depends because like usage pings run in the web service or something like we really look
I think it's a
into
cyclic job,
getting.
isn't it? Like a cron job that executes. Like some of them only run once a week or so, and then they collect data from different sources.
Yes, but like I think it may be straightforward to send data, but it may be not straightforward to get actual data accumulated across multiple distinct services. Because these are two different things. Like one is like accumulating, second one is sending.
So I only really briefly touched the surface of this because I looked at an MR that was related to it. So it looked like, I think we shoved data into Redis and then a job runs. Like, I think the thing I looked at, it was like counting. I don't even remember what it was counting, but it was like some counter in Redis. But where, like, what happens to this data then? Like, where do we end up actually collecting it permanently?
I think it runs in the Periscope or something like that.
Oh, okay, all right.
So like, I think it's like key value storage or something that like you can push an arbitrary set of data and then create a beautiful graphs between like, I don't know, version by dimension or something like that. I don't know like the specifics. It's like my hatch, like how it could be working. I would assume that like we push that into Periscope.
Is this more of a backstage thing or like a documented feature that we have? So like, if you have a doc link or something you could drop, that would be super useful. I wouldn't mind reading up on this more.
Quality team works a lot of with Periscope, so maybe they know more.
Okay.
Product team also works a lot of with Periscope to understand.
Oh no,
often
sorry.
our features are
Periscope
being
for
used.
sure. Right. I was more thinking about the whole like usage ping system, how it feeds into each other, I guess.
Because like I'm actually thinking that this could be our OKR, like increase gathering data. I mean key result, gather data about architecture or like memory usage of our on-premise customer into Periscope, because like this is gonna give us maybe some hints about how people differently run, what are the configs, and maybe gonna give us more hints about the direction in which we should optimize on-prem.
Yes, that would be amazing. Like the only question I had there didn't we try to do something? That was like right after I joined, I think. There was a bit of like a community backlash of some other like analytics feature or something that we shipped where we were starting to collect, I think it was more like end user data, you know, like user funnel tracking and stuff, I think what it was. And then there was like a big kind of community backlash and we rolled it all back. Is that,
oh,
would that
the
be
telemetry stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can answer a bit there. We did roll most of it back. Usage ping was not part of that. Usage ping has been their product for a long time. People can turn it off if they want to, and we're working to improve it. Some of our larger customers don't have a problem with it, but what they do have a problem with it is that they need to have their compliance team review all the data attributes that go out. So they're like, look, I don't have a problem with anything you can collect, but I just need a chance to review it. And so like one of the problems we're solving right now is that we're trying to, well, no, hopefully in the future, rather, I don't think it's being tackled right now, is that we need to have a way to opt in to the new data collection attributes, right? So if we add memory, they need a way to like look at it and say, okay, now GitLab wants to start collecting memory stats. I'm okay with that, and the compliance team can sign off, and not just the current model of you upgrade and all of a sudden a whole bunch more data starts leaving your GitLab instance. And so it's not that they don't trust us, it's just that they need to have the compliance team look at these things and make sure they're okay with it before the data starts to leave. And so we talked to folks in usage ping. Again, it's not considered a problem for many, and the main blocker to having it turned on more widely is features like this, so they have some amount of control over it without it being just purely on or off. So. I think this is great. Personally, I also would like to get more operational data out of our self-managed instances. I would love to get things like response time and other types of user feedback. So I think that's awesome. If we can get this relatively easily, that would be amazing. So I'm not sure how much we can gather in, for example, like the Ruby code, which is where the usage ping currently runs. But if we can gather it there, that should make it relatively easy to pick up without having to like go to Prometheus or something like that, which would be a lot of a larger lift, because right now, we would figure out where the Prometheus server is and things like that. But just some thoughts there. But definitely on board with increasing our telemetry for sure. Also be great to collect things like how many nodes we have and what the data, like what the topology is of the GitLab installation.
Because like Prometheus would be, if you would have Prometheus, it would be super straightforward, like to run different queries against this Prometheus. But maybe like we really advise people to run Prometheus. Do we know exactly how many of our like users run Prometheus to monitor GitLab?
I think a lot of them do. Our support team has been recommending it to get it running. The question I have is I'm not sure how many people run the embedded Prometheus server that we have, and I'm not sure the GitLab application always knows where it is. So I think a lot of folks, probably almost nearly all of our customers, hit the Prometheus. Well, all of our customers at scale hit the Prometheus server that, or the endpoints that export metrics, and whether they collect it with Datadog or whether they collect it with something else. Up to them, but I would think a lot of people heavily utilize it.
Okay, so probably really like it could be some data we could gather because we run Ruby, and maybe this is just enough because these are like the most important aspect of our work is like to monitor Ruby and optimize Ruby, and we can run because we run Sidekey, Puma, or whatever else, consistently, like system settings we could also gather. And maybe as an alternative, if you run Omnibus and you run Prometheus, we know about this Prometheus that you run with Omnibus, and we could gather some metrics out of this Prometheus with the usage ping as an like extension. Because like I would assume that a lot of people would maybe use this Prometheus really, and like we can pretty fairly easy run some queries against this Prometheus to get a single metric or like even multiple metrics, because we know where it is as like something for future.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think we can probably get something easily with Ruby as a first step. And then if you look at the North Star metrics for memory, there are items in there that we'll need to go get from Prometheus. So I think it would be great to do both of them. But I think we should probably start with the easier solution for now, which is to just maybe get some stuff that we can with Ruby.
So like one complex aspect really gonna be in Ruby figuring out the topology, which is like pretty challenging to do it. And the second aspect is really like getting compliance, that we can actually gather this data and get maybe to some extent user approval, if we consider this data to be sensitive to users or not, which is more like the legal product side of the story, right, Josh?
I'm not worried about how sensitive it is. We gather data like this all the time, and we don't tell anyone basically. So what we can do is we can go to the telemetry team. There's a approval process for adding new things to usage ping, and they can they'll take a look at it, and in general they'll tell us if it's a good idea or not to go collect. But in general, I think getting things like memory usage would not be controversial at all. That would be fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're running up on time here for the meeting, so I can create and update the OKR to reflect this path, which is great. Thanks for the suggestion, Camille. No need to apologize. That's actually a good idea. I can create the epic and the issues. They'll be fairly stubbed out, but if there's anybody else that wants to tackle it, I will certainly abdicate that responsibility. All right, nobody's jumping up and down. I'll take it. Cool. Any other topics we need to cover today?
Quick, if you just want to ping me in those, I can help you create them as well.
Okay. All right. We had a planning meeting scheduled for tomorrow. I might end up canceling that so I can make some time to chat with everybody about the telemetry meeting. And quite honestly, I'm not prepared for a planning meeting tomorrow. I don't have a bunch of issues to break down. So I will probably just reschedule that for next week.
We do have an issue, I think, right, Craig, for the 13.1. So maybe folks can add some thoughts on there as far as things that maybe they want to consider in the interim.
Yep. Yeah, we can go async, continue async with the planning. But I will still find some time next week so we can follow up on it. All right. If there's nothing else, thanks everybody.
Thank you.